League of Legends is a game featuring over 160 unique champions to choose from, and with a roster this bloated, it's no surprise that some of these champions have a pretty bad reputation. But the question still remains, which champions are the absolute worst? And by worst, I don't mean weakest. No, basically every champion on this list is absurdly overpowered. I'm talking about the most hair-pulling, keyboard smashing, wife beating, cringe of the crop, disgusting, should have been murdered in the womb champions. With each entry on this perfectly crafted list, we will be exploring the darkest depths of human suffering, with the only thing comparable being a certain event that took place during World War II that my lawyers have advised me to no longer mention. That is, of course, if it's even real. Without further ado, let's begin our list by looking at the 10th worst champion in all of League of Legends. Let me ask you guys something. What makes a good champion? Is it A, visual design, B, gameplay and abilities, C, lore and storytelling potential, or D, all of the above? Time's up. The correct answer was actually E, counterplay. Any champion that can be considered even slightly balanced exists in a perfect state of yin and yang. While they may have incredibly powerful abilities, you as a player are allowed agency, and as a result, balance is created. But Shen, the little fuck, is about as balanced and fair as cancer in a 4-year-old. This guy has some of the worst abilities in the entire game, and on top of that, his stats are completely dreadful. He's supposed to be a tank, but pops like a balloon if someone so much as breathes on him. Yet despite being terrible in every other way, for some reason, Shen's ultimate ability is one of the most broken and uninteractive pieces of shit to ever claw its way into the game. When laning against Shen, the moment he hits level 6, the game is over. It doesn't matter how good you are, because with the click of a button, Shen can save an ally from certain death and teleport across the map. Meanwhile, there is not a damn thing you can do about it, because even if you manage to stop the teleport, he still grants a massive fucking shield anyways, so damned if you do, and especially if you don't. But worst of all is the complete retards who play this dude. A fucking baby could hit Challenger playing Shen, and yet his mains will constantly preach about how high skill and intelligent they are just because they hit R on a low health ally. And yet despite all of this, he's only number 10 on our list. The degeneracy only gets worse from here. Some of you may be a little confused as to how an entire class of champions can occupy a single position on the list, and the answer to that is actually quite simple. You see, control mages are all the exact same champion using a different skin. Every single control mage is a boring, obnoxious, zero skill, zero fun, zero counterplay disaster that should have never been released. Here's a little history lesson with Seed-chan. Remember what I said about Shen? I mean, you should, given the fact that it was like a few minutes ago. But anyways, the main issue with Shen is that he has a ridiculously unfair ultimate that allows him to save a teammate's life from across the map. But now, I want you to imagine that same ultimate, except applied to all of your teammates. Then combine that with brain dead gameplay, and congratulations, you now have Soraka. Does it really need to be stated that an ability that can instantaneously heal all of your teammates globally might be a teeny tiny bit broken? And if that wasn't already bad enough, Soraka can also point and click her allies to full health on a 0-second cooldown, while simultaneously locking you out of the game entirely with the click of a button. All the while, she can't be killed because she's running around with a million move speed and constantly refreshing her health bar. And you want to know the worst part of it all? Honestly, I'd still smash.
Maybe Arcane was the friends we made along the way.
Heimerdinger is quite the anomaly. There are currently 166 different champions in League of Legends, and out of all of these options, Heimerdinger is objectively the most unfun character in the entire game. While I may hate champions like Garen with a passion, I still can't deny the fact that he's incredibly fun to play as. But then there's Heimerdinger, a champion designed to literally do nothing at all. He helplessly runs in circles around his turrets while occasionally firing a missile. However, if you destroy his turrets, he's just completely useless, barely even resembling a full champion, as every part of his kit relies on his turrets being alive. That, of course, doesn't excuse the agony that comes with laning against him, but it's always just so strange. Yes, I'm having an absolutely dreadful time and want to kill myself, but surely my opponent can't be having any fun either. Which actually makes me hate him even more.
Quagmire.
So which one is the pig?
ADC players are notorious piss babies. No matter how many buffs they receive, they will constantly bitch about how weak and useless their role is, despite being the most broken and blatantly unfair playstyle in the game. However, to their credit, the one downside of playing a marksman is the vulnerability that comes with the role. Anything and everything will kill you in basically one shot. Unless you're playing Ashe, of course, which in that case, not only do you deal overwhelming amounts of damage, but you're also completely immune to any and all attacks, because Ashe has this thing called a passive, and it is by far the single most overpowered and frustrating passive in the entire game. Whenever Ashe shoots you, a slow is applied, and I don't mean a tiny slow or anything. No, Ashe fucking cripples you, and the slow lasts long enough for her to reapply it before the duration ends, which basically translates to even if you try to turn on her, Ashe can simply kite backwards and continue to make you suffer. Most ADCs tend to have a fast kill time, while Ashe, on the other hand, deals much lower damage. But this doesn't mean you're going to live or anything, it simply means your death is going to be as long and drawn out as possible. Once you've been attacked by Ashe, you're basically the equivalent of a wounded animal with its fucking intestines hanging out. But that's without talking about her ultimate.
A turned back deserves a knife. Whoa!
I think everyone can agree that playing ranged top laners is incredibly cringe. However, in the event that you do run into one, it's commonly known that if you just run at them, it's a free kill. Unless, of course, you're fighting Gangplank, who is basically just an ADC minus the weaknesses. Laning against Gangplank is one of the most torturous and agonizing experiences a human can go through, and it plays out a little something like Do I even really need to say anything? I mean, Teemo has historically been one of the most hated champions in the game, and was even on multiple occasions nominated as the absolute worst. He literally only exists to cause suffering, and every aspect of his kit is meant to be as infuriating as possible. But to make things simple, let's just list off every sin Teemo commits. He's a ranged top laner. He deals poison damage. He's easy. He has a tiny hitbox. He has annoying voice lines.
Let's turn that frown up, son.
He can disable auto attacks. He has invisible traps. His stats are insane. His ability.
More of a dog person, huh?
It takes a special kind of awful to be the easiest champion in the easiest role of the game. But Yuumi, of course, is a special kind of degenerate. A champion so inactive that players often get AFK warnings due to the lack of present gameplay. There is certainly nothing more brain dead than Yuumi, but that's not why I hate her. No, not at all. I can excuse the unfair invulnerability because in the grander scheme of things, that's child's play. I can excuse the fact that she turns her teammates into raid bosses because I've seen far worse, and I can even give a pass to her awful, horrible, cringe-filled voice lines. But do you want to know what I absolutely cannot excuse? It's the undeniable fact that Yuumi introduced women to League of Legends. I think it goes without saying that females are rather cringe. They have been responsible for various cootie outbreaks while also being the leading cause of virginism in men. And this should go without saying, but vaginas are absolutely disgusting. And to show you what I mean, I'm gonna flash a picture of one on screen. Just for a second though. Due to the fact that Yuumi is incredibly brain dead, she's a perfect match for women, which has caused them to flood into the game in mass, always of course accompanied by their Smurf-draven boyfriend who proceeds to absolutely rape my bot lane while stealing my hard-earned LP in the process, and all because Riot wanted to add a fucking cat to the video game. Sometimes I make the mistake of thinking that I can play League of Legends for fun. But as long as Shaco exists within the game files, this game will never be fun. Because whenever you're sitting in Champ Select, there's always a chance that some psychopath might be out there. With no exaggeration at all, whenever I see a Shaco, it is my own personal 9/11. In fact, I'd argue that it's worse, because at least if I was in the towers, I'd die instantly. But if I'm against Shaco, I'm guaranteed to suffer for at least 15 minutes. Literally every complaint I've stated up to this point applies to this champion.
The joke's on you!
He has a bullshit ultimate. He was made in like 2 weeks. Just a reminder that his ultimate is still bullshit. Only complete fucking psychos play him. I guess they're both ugly. There is no escaping his wrath. No matter what you do, you're still gonna lose. He is somehow more obnoxious than Teemo. Shaco loves women. Have you seen his OnlyFans bill? Fuck! I want to kill him. I want to get rid of him from the files. Whoever the freak was who made him. I want them dead. I want no more Shacos in my...
It is even funnier the second time.
Okay, that was a bit intense, but listen, Shaco is 100% the least balanced champion in all of League of Legends. He lacks counterplay entirely and breaks a lot of the game's fundamental rules. What I mean to say in all of this is that while I may have called a lot of champions in this video words like unfair or disgusting, cringe, I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather fight those champions 1,000,000 times over than have to go against Shaco even once. Riggin! Spaghetti.